Yeah. Well, thanks so much for having me here today. It's really an honor to be a part of this event. It's very exciting that all these people are interested in talking about sustainability and innovation. So for those who are not familiar with Kroger, we are the nation's largest grocery retailer. We have 2,800 stores in 35 states and the District of Columbia. We operate 35 manufacturing plants, and we actually produce about 40% of our private label products in the food products in those plants. And then we have 44 distribution centers that where our products are shipping through to get them ultimately to our customers. So while our scope is clearly national, we're also very excited to bring our sustainability and other commitments to life in our local communities as well, and clearly in Cincinnati, since that is our headquarters city. So, as a retailer, we have a lot of environmental and social impacts that we're aware of and addressing every day, and those are all on our radar and on our agendas in different ways. But, for the purposes of today's event, I wanted to focus on waste, because that is something that is of particular importance and significance to us as a company, and to many of our shareholders and stakeholders as well. So we'll talk a little bit about what it means for us as a company, and also in our value chain and our products. So to give a bit of context, I know Pete sort of touched on some of these as well. We're facing a lot of pressures when it comes to waste. So one, for example, is food. So we know that 40% of the food that we produce in the United States is actually being wasted somewhere along the value chain, which is a very staggering statistic. But then we also know that many people in the United States are hungry or food insecure. I think the statistic is that nationally, 1 in 8 people, is experiencing food insecurity. So there's that interesting paradox there. And then another waste topic is, plastic pollution. So we know that plastic pollution is harming our oceans and our environment, and that is clearly a problem. One of the solutions to reducing plastic pollution is recycling, but at the same time, our recycling markets are struggling because of the ban on recyclables from overseas. So definitely some interesting topics there that we're grappling with. And while we recognize we have these realities and these pressures, we also know that as a responsible corporate citizen, we need to address these topics, and we need to do something about it. And given who we are, we feel like we have, we're well positioned to do that as well. And so that's why we are really committed to environmental sustainability, to protect our people and the planet, and to make positive change in our company and in our communities. One of the key ways that we're really bringing this commitment to life is through our Zero Hunger, Zero Waste social impact plan. This is something we launched in September of 2017, so it's been about a year and a half now. And this is really our bold vision to end hunger in the places we call home, and to eliminate waste in our company by 2025. As I mentioned earlier, there is this fundamental absurdity where so much food is being wasted, and yet so many people are hungry. So given that we're the nation's largest grocery retailer, and we have 135 years of experience in this space, we thought that this was something that we really needed to tackle as a company. So in the next couple of slides, I'll just walk you through some of our multi-point plan that we're using to achieve our vision and move the needle. So one of those is a $10 million innovation fund. We had earmarked this money a few years ago and are dedicating it to this Zero Hunger, Zero Waste plan. And the fund, I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end, but it's focused on reducing food waste. And we just realized that we needed to harness innovation to solve these problems, because we can't rely exclusively on what we know today. We also set a few ambitious goals to really move the needle and advance our progress. One of those is that we will donate 3 billion meals by 2025. We're well on our way. We donated the equivalent of 316 million meals in 2018, so we're trying to increase those numbers every year and really move the needle by 2025. And then we'll also donate more balanced meals. So, we have a food rescue program, where we rescue food from our stores and manufacturing plants and distribution centers. And through that program, we donated 100 million pounds of fresh food in 2018. So again, trying to really shape the kind of food that we're donating as well. So another commitment we have is that we'll be we'll have zero food waste by 2025. We're really focused on our food waste prevention and recovery programs. So through the food that we donate, obviously before it ever becomes wasted, we have food waste recycling programs in place, and we increased our food waste recycling by 26% actually in 2018, which was great. And then given our position, we want to advocate for public policy solutions where we can. We realize that we're not working in a vacuum and that we need to kind of help shape the context in which we're working. And then, we also knew in many ways that we can't achieve this vision alone. So at the outset, we joined forces with some new and long-standing partners. So we have a decade-long relationship with World Wildlife Fund on our sustainable seafood commitments. So we were very pleased to bring them on board to be our food waste-focused partner on this initiative, because that is another area of expertise for them. We also are partnered with Feeding America. We're a founding member of that organization, and we partner with them on our food rescue program. So they were a clear fit, to help be our partner on our the hunger side of this commitment. And then another group that we're working with is called ReFed, and they are a food waste innovation organization, and they've really helped us shape and stand up our innovation fund in the last, since we announced our visions. They've also been a great partner. And then of course we partner closely with local organizations across the country and in the communities where we operate. So ultimately, our vision is to transform Kroger communities and improve health for millions by 2025. It's very exciting. We have a lot of work to do, but we have great partners, and we're very excited to continue this journey. So in terms of some sort of specific topic areas, I would just describe a bit for you, and these are areas where we're focused. I wanted to start with food waste. Obviously, that's one of our zero waste visions. So at the outset, we knew that we had to focus on our own operations first, clean up our own house, if you will, or get our own house in order. So that's really where we've been focused a lot for the last year and a half. We have some great, food rescue and recycling programs in place, so we're trying to increase awareness and better execution on those programs and expand them to stores or locations where we don't have them yet. So, that work continues, and it will continue for the duration of our commitments. But an area that we'd like to focus more on moving forward is also reducing food waste in the supply chain. So we know that food waste really occurs throughout the entire, value chain, from when it's grown on farm to when it's brought to a packing house or a processing plant. Could be one of our plants, and then the transport process, and then ultimately coming to Kroger, and then even on the other end of that, at the consumer level. So, we know that there's a real opportunity to reduce food waste from where food starts to where it ends. So a couple of examples of ways that we might do that. One would be, value-added processing. So currently, you might have a manufacturing process where there's a byproduct, but it's currently treated as waste, but maybe it could be repurposed into a different type of product or a new product. Another one would be capturing on-farm loss. So we know that, a lot of food is grown, and hopefully most of it is harvested and used, but there might be some that gets lost due to a weak demand for it, or it's not meeting certain specs, that kind of thing. So I think another opportunity is really trying to capture that whatever is lost on farm for a better purpose than where it might be going currently. And then ultimately, I think balancing the supply and demand within the value chain. So trying to make it more equal between what is being grown and what is being consumed at the other end through better communication and better information within the value chain. So I think this really is a great opportunity for us, and something that we will look to focus more on here moving forward with partnership from the value chain. Another great example of, switching gears a little bit here, still waste focused, but talking a bit more about the waste related to our products is packaging. So as Pete was mentioning, and I think everyone here is probably aware, packaging has really become a hot topic, for Kroger, for our customers, our shareholders, other stakeholders. And it's something that we really need to pay close attention to. It's very material to us because we create and sell a lot of products in packaging. So knowing that, we created some sustainable packaging commitments in 2016 on a 2020 timeline. And they're really focused on a few areas. One is reducing plastic resin. So we have a commitment to reduce plastic resin by 10 million pounds in our private label products by 2020, and we're making great progress. We're already at 9.1 million pounds in annual savings. We're also looking to increase recycled content because we know in the recycling loop, by creating more demand for the content through recycled content, we're helping create a market, for recyclable materials. And in a related way, we're looking to improve the recyclability of packaging. We know that some packaging is more readily recyclable based on the material and the format and the recycling systems that currently exist, but there are other ones like the multi-layer films, or multi-layer materials that are they're more difficult to recycle, so there isn't really an easy option at this point. So these are the kind of, issues and topics that we're thinking about. And then, in a related method, we're thinking about reusable models because we know the hierarchy says reduce, reuse, then recycle. And so we're thinking of some ways that we can infuse more reusability into the way that we package and distribute our products. So those are all the key core sustainability imperatives, but we also have to marry those up with other business imperatives, such as designing for e-commerce. We're shipping more products at Kroger, so we need to be thinking about how do we make those products ready to be shipped? How do we reduce food waste? We know packaging is really designed to preserve food for our customers, so we need to keep that in mind as well. And then obviously identifying sound alternatives. So we don't want to replace one material with something else that might have other environmental consequences that we should be aware of. And then as a food retailer, obviously protecting food safety is just really paramount to what we do as a company, and we need to keep that top of mind. So I think, this is another really key focus area for us that has a lot of opportunity for innovation in terms of finding solutions that can really marry up all these kind of requirements and imperatives to find great solutions for the future. So obviously, there are a lot of challenges that we're looking at, but they're all very exciting topics to be working on. And we know that many other organizations and individuals are similarly passionate about these topics, and that is why we want to harness that passion and that innovation. So, as I mentioned earlier, we had earmarked the $10 million for an innovation fund. And we stood that up earlier this year, which is really exciting. And we put out our first open call in the spring, and then we'll be planning to announce the first round of winners here a little bit later in the summer. So this is just a really exciting way that we're bringing our commitments to life. So, through innovation, through the hard work of our associates, in partnership with all these great organizations and individuals, we're just thrilled to kind of continue our journey to be a sustainable company and to work with folks like in this room and others to bring our vision to life and to make it a reality. So with that, I'll say thank you. And I also want to plug our new sustainability report, which will be coming out here in the next week or so. So if you ever want to learn more about what we're doing in the sustainability space, that will be a great resource for you. So with that, I will say thank you. Wrap it up.